Dionisio at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today. Swakowski, the big right-hander, lets it go. It's right down Broadway. Dionisio lets it fly, and it's raining now.
It's time for Rain Delay Theater with Jeremy Dionisio and Jack Swakowski.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Rain Delay Theater, the show where two bums talk about other bums at baseball games. I'm Jeremy Dionisio.
And I'm Jack Swakowski.
This is episode number 296, and it is our recap of the Chicago Sports Spectacular at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Annual tradition of the podcast, and just a card show that comes to town twice a year. So we were able to head out to there on Friday. It's a weekend show. We headed out for the Friday. I ended up going Saturday and Sunday, so I'm going to talk about that too at the end. But a lot of stuff happened on Friday with Jack and myself, so we will get into all of those events and happenings that happened. Before that, we got a couple things to talk about before we get into that. So, Jack, you were you went to see some college basketball before that?
Yeah. So Alabama was playing Illinois at the United Center. I guess technically it was a home game for Illinois. That was on Wednesday, so 2 days before we went to the convention. It was a fun time. The game was almost sold out, so there were almost 20,000 people there. But yeah, so I went at Gates, which opened 90 minutes before tip-off, so I had a lot of time to kill. As I was getting up to my seat, I got up to the third deck, and there was kind of nobody up there yet, and I realized I was going to be thirsty, so I needed to buy a soda. So I was just kind of walking around the upper deck, and, like you do when you're, when you're at a stadium and you just need something to drink, I was like, okay, well, whatever, like the next open concession stand, I'll just go up to and get a Diet Pepsi. So I walk up and I just ordered a regular Diet Pepsi, and the woman was like, "Oh crap, my register isn't on yet." So she tries to turn it on, and she's not successful in doing so. She can't get the register on. She pours the soda, but she can't get the register on. So she's having all these problems, and she calls her boss over, and her boss was this guy in he looked like he was wearing his wedding and funeral suit. Just like it was just weird. It was incongruous. Like he was dressed in a suit, but he was the concessions manager or whatever. Game day event manager. So he tries to fix the register, and he can't. So then they move over to the register next to that was like the next register over, and they try to get that one on. They can't get that one on either. So they must be having some problem with like their network, their Wi-Fi, whatever it is. And all the time, I'm just standing there, like, with this soda, like, holding this soda, waiting to pay for it, thinking, man, like, I could have picked any of the 10 concession stands that I passed. I had to pick this one. Like, Jesus Christ, I just want to go sit down and watch these guys warm up. So anyway, after a while, like, after they try this second register, the manager goes to the lady. He's like, yeah, what was he getting? And she's like, oh, just a soda. And he's like, just give it to him. So she's like, all right, yeah, you're good to go. You don't need to pay for it. And I was like, sweet. And it was just a soda, but still at the United Center, like a regular size soda was probably $8.50 or something. I didn't really look what it cost, but I'm sure it was something like that. And I thought, this wasn't exactly the caper Jeremy pulled off at Wrigley Field, like getting all that free food, but it was something. So I think that next year for the over-under, we have to have an over-under of, free concessions obtained at a game. Because it's definitely a thing.
We should do like a dollar amount of free stuff worth like over under like $16.50 or something.
Right. Yeah. So it was just a bonus. Like it was annoying that they couldn't get those registers to work, but I guess it's just a stroke of luck, and feel like maybe the soda tasted just a little bit better because of that.
That's funny. I was hoping that's where the story was going. I thought she would have just said, just take it for free, right off the bat. But she made you earn it a little bit, I guess. But
yeah, right. Yeah. So one other note before we get into the convention, the Rockies, I think it was yesterday, officially hired Warren Schaefer as their manager for the 2026 season. So he's no longer got the interim tag. He's he is going to be their manager for another year. I don't know what that says about his coaching staff, but that seems like it's about the least creative hire they possibly could have done, especially since they just brought Paul DePodesta in to shake things up, supposedly.
I almost challenge your use of hire, because it's like it almost seems like there's like it just almost seemed like they just resigned to like have Warren Schaefer stay as the manager. Like it's funny because we were just talking about it last episode. I think that's like the Rockies like forget that they have to hire a manager. And it truly feels that way. It's like either they forgot to just renew Warren Schaefer, or they forgot to like interview people, and then like the guy they wanted, got hired or something. So like it just seems like such a anticlimactic like non-move by like an organization that seems to be like not trying either. So it's just it's kind of, I almost feel bad for Warren Schaefer. It's like, is he actually happy that they kept him? Like he probably was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll get a coaching staff job on the Padres or somewhere like that has a chance of winning, and now he's stuck back with the Rockies.
Yeah, and what's the point of bringing in a guy from outside your organization like Paul DePodesta? Because what everybody says about the Rockies is that they're too insular. Like they hire from within. They're basically like Jerry Reinsdorf. Like once you're in with them, you're in for good. And so they finally bring in this guy from the outside, and he hires a guy who's been with the organization since 2007. So yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. The only thing that I would say to that, or like that the only way that you can possibly advocate for this hire is that the Rockies are not going to be good. Like they're going to lose 100 games next year, probably, or very close to it. And maybe for the next couple of years until they actually start hitting on draft picks and like developing guys right. So somebody might as well have to deal with that mess before they actually get a real manager. I guess maybe that's Warren Schaefer.
Yeah, that was the rationale for hiring Dale Swaim for the Cubs. Like,
was it? I wasn't following the Cubs super closely at that point.
Yeah, it was just like someone has to manage this team while they're bad, and it's gonna be Dale. It might as well be Dale Swaim. So, because that was right when Theo and Jed took over. So they were like just kind of like, not like the next couple seasons were going to be a wash while they were like kind of rebuilding their team. I just think it's just so like anticlimactic, I think is the best word. It's like just an afterthought, like just keeping him. I saw it and it just made me chuckle because it was just such a non thought out move. So yeah.
Well, I guess maybe we can get him next year again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we should get the same card. And like, well, you had a different card, right?
Yeah, so maybe I should bring your card next year and see if I can get the same reaction from him.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he'll like be like, this card keeps popping up, man. It's just so horrible. But yeah. So that's funny. So now I think all the managers are set finally. They are. But it's just crazy. It's crazy that it took them till this point to like just rename the same manager. It's just I can't believe it. But anyway, it is the Rockies. So, yeah. All right. So let's get into the sports spectacular. It was we went Friday night. I think it was November 21st, maybe. I can't remember the date. Friday night, November 21st at the Rosemont. In Rosemont, Illinois, at the convention center out there. So yeah, I think like, we kind of previewed it last week about like who we would see and like, like what would happen. There were some things that I think like as we were walking to the show, I had kind of forgotten about. One of which is that we both, Jack, you and I both had our credit card numbers stolen last year at the show through some sort of breach. So we were already walking to the convention center before like when I realized that. So there was like no turning back at that point. But I was like hoping that wouldn't happen. I guess spoiler alert. I'm still looking good on my end, Jack.
Yeah, I haven't. I guess I haven't gone on my bank statement in the last couple of days, but I did not purchase any autographs this year, Jeremy. You did, so that would be the I guess the difference there, if anything happens. That being said, yeah, nothing on my end either. So maybe we're in the clear this year.
Yeah, hopefully. So, so yeah, and just the walk also from the parking lot to the convention center, we kind of didn't really think about either. But
Yep.
yeah, you're walking down. I always forget. I forget if it's River Road or Mannheim. But like the cars are just zooming by you, and it's unnerving. It's a little less scary coming than going because you're walking against traffic, but when you're coming back you're walking with traffic, and like you wouldn't even see if some truck or like veered off the road and was bearing down on you. You would just be run over. So
Yeah, and it's one of the few places I walk where you actually have to cross a freeway exit, which is also scary.
yeah, right, there's an entrance and an exit.
Yeah, you have to cross two, actually.
Yeah, exactly. So the entrance is actually more scary than the exit because you can see the car coming from like pretty far away, but
Yeah.
the entrance, like the cars are just kind of turning into that thing and that road or that ramp, and it's it's unruly. Now I think we said this previously, we could pay $8 more and park across the street, but I'm not it's worth the risk for me. So
Sure.
so anyway, we show up at the ticket booth, and Jack hit a snag right away.
Yeah, so Jeremy, completely forgot that the entrance was cash only. Just totally forgot. I mean, yeah, that's not something you would remember year to year unless I guess you've done it multiple times. But next year I sure as shit won't forget.
Yeah,
but
I'm finally at the point where like I'm prepped for that. But go ahead, we can.
Yeah, well, it's just annoying. So it was annoying for a couple of reasons. Number one, we live in a cashless society, basically, especially since COVID. So, like, I mean, Christ, you go to Wrigley Field, you can't pay for anything with cash. You can't even buy a scorecard with cash at most of the, gift shops. There is one that will let you pay cash, but so yeah, it's annoying, man. Nobody takes cash anymore.
Are you talking about the scorecard?
Yeah.
Stuff? I don't even think they're supposed to do that. I think that's just like yeah.
Yeah, they're totally not. It's an under the table thing, and I think it's only in that left field one. Yeah, so it's annoying. The only places that are cash only now are like the diviest of dive bars. So you go into this convention at the Rosemont Convention Center that 1,000 people are going to be at, or however many, and like I understand it's only $15. And that with every credit card transaction, I think, the business has to pay a little fee, whatever. But still, come on, man. Like, you can't pay with a credit card to get in this thing?
Yeah, it's annoying because, like, yeah, a majority of people are going to be using their credit card for the autographs and whatnot. So finally this year was the year that, like, I think I even said at one point, Jack, I said something like I feel like a Boy Scout, like I was preparing for this convention.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose, yeah, I myself wish that I reminded you to get some cash, and I even thought about it because I ended up spotting you the cash for it, which ended up coming back to haunt me a little bit. Because I had to go back to the ATM. I got money at the ATM on Friday, and then I had to go back again like Saturday, I think.
Yeah.
But I also spent more money than I kind of thought I would. But but yeah, like I had a recharge. But luckily it was like my own bank, so I didn't get charged any money. But
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I got my cash and was ready to go, and the one thing about the main thing about the cash stuff is like when you go around and you buy stuff from guys, from tables, I buy one of the things I try to do when I go there is like buy single cards, like to build sets and stuff, to fill in my missing cards for sets. And so like when you buy from those guys, you're spending just like a couple bucks because they charge like 10-25 cents a card. Mm-hmm. So sometimes I'm buying like $3 worth of stuff, so I know that they're not going to take card for that. And it's So I've gotten into that habit of like trying to carry some cash on me. The problem is like the more cash you have, it's easily spent. So it's not my favorite, but that will come back later on to be an issue. The cash.
Yes, it sure will. Yeah, that's a good point about the single cards, Jeremy, too. So yeah, good to know for next year. But yeah, so it was annoying for that first reason, but also because I had to go to the bathroom like really bad, and going to an ATM whatever is no problem. I was like frantically I was like, Jeremy, like where's the ATM here? Because I was like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna waltz in, pay for my ticket with my credit card, and be like, Jeremy, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be right back. But like this whole cash thing was a snag. Thank God you had that cash, man, on you. Like it was easy enough to just Venmo you the money, but like, good Lord. So we got in there, and like not 30 seconds after we got in there, I was like, hey, Jeremy, I'm just going to hit the bathroom real fast. And then so I made a beeline for the bathroom. And then like you came up behind me and you're like, hey, Jack. And I was like, huh? And you're like, I'm going to go get something to drink actually real quick. I was like, yeah, whatever, man. Cool. And like I went into the bathroom and, Jeremy, I did not have to pee. Let's just say that.
Okay,
so
all right.
I was in there for a pretty long time. Thank God I made it, but that would sort of come into play because you ran into a Rain Delay Theater regular at like the table by the concessions while I was in there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad. I was going to ask how much you wanted to divulge from this.
Well,
from this
I don't
story,
feel
but...
like we can really tell the story, like this part of the story, without divulging what else was going on. So it doesn't matter,
Yeah. Hey, it's nature calls.
Yeah.
But whatever. Okay. So yeah, like I was I was kind of like milling about that general area because these shows are huge and you can get split up really easily, and it's kind of hard to find somebody, and that did actually happen to us later. But I was milling about this general area, and I saw JEJ, Joe Evans Jr., podcast regular, sitting at a table with a guy, with like an older guy, and he was like, he had like his like little Harbor Freight like case with his like cards in it that like all these like these younger kids have or whatever, these like there's older guys that have it too, but it's just become like part of card culture, like these guys walking around with their fucking like Pelican cases with like these slabbed cards trying to sell them and stuff. And so he was like looking through all these cards and just kind of sorting out stuff, and he was with this guy, and so I walk over and I just kind of pat him on the shoulder, whatever, and we start talking, and then the guy who's with him, I said to him like something like, hey, you're trying to make some deals this weekend or something? He's like, yeah. And then the guy next to him goes like, yeah, he's making deals, making all kinds of deals, man. This guy's making so much money, and like he's doing good for himself, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, I see him all the time at Wrigley, he's putting in the work. He's like, yeah, that's right, and such a young guy too. He's like doing all this stuff and making all these moves and stuff. And I realized I'm pretty sure, I feel like we've been faked before, but I think that it was JEJ's dad.
Wow. Okay.
Potentially, if he's Joe Evans Jr., then this would make him Joe Evans, I guess. But
yeah, right.
I think it was his dad, and he was like proud of his son for being like a card hustler, which is fine, I guess. But like, I do feel like those kids put way more effort into getting autographs than like their studies, their schoolwork, and so like I don't know if there's any conversations at the household of like, you need to study more, like you stop going to that damn ballpark and open and crack a book open. But the dad was proud of him, and there is a little bit of we've run into Josh's dad too down there, and a lot of times it might just be me and you, and then like the Josh and his minions like hanging out there, and you want to not be a creep or anything. You want to like not like come across as some kind of weirdo, and I don't think we do, but you never know. And so like if I was one of their parents and I saw us or if honestly, if I knew my kid was down there by themselves, I would, I'd be worried. None of their parents seem to be particularly worried about them. And we do like look out for them and stuff, but like, yeah, as a parent, I would be a little vigilant about it. And like, who the hell's around my kid, this guy didn't seem to have any of those concerns, I guess. So it was funny. But I did start talking to him, and like, we were just kind of whatever, making small talk or whatever. And at some point, like, it was the conversation had like worn out its volition. And, I'm kind of like, all right, where the hell's Jack here? Like, like he's been in there for a bit. And, I'm just like, I said maybe one or two other things to JJ. And then, I'm like, okay, where the hell's Jack? And I eventually, like, yeah, there's no sign of you. And then I'm like, I don't think I missed him, because I positioned myself in a way to make sure to not miss you. And then eventually I said to JJ, I'm like, yeah, I'm waiting for my buddy, but yeah, I'm gonna just go look around. And I got out of there just because it was getting too awkward. But yeah, it was unexpected, I guess, a little bit.
Well, I guess you soon found out why it took so long, or I guess maybe you figured that out for yourself, which is okay. So Jeremy, I didn't know about the whole like, I'm proud of this kid conversation. Maybe he might be proud of JJ because it's like, man, he's showing some real good business acumen here. Like that's gonna benefit him, like, when he grows up and gets a real job. But Jeremy, we've seen what happens. Like once you're a grapher, like, you're not going to stop graphing. It's like, he's not going to take this and like turn into a Wolf of Wall Street. Like he's just going to keep graphing. Like, the ceiling for that is being like GTV reality. So, which is an Instagram that, listeners, you should check out if you haven't seen it. But, so that's interesting. But, I feel like JEJ at this point, he's just going for a career in graphing.
Yeah, he already posted something about like he was doing like a private signing with PCA, and really? I'm like, what is that? Like, what is, I should have asked him about that when I saw him, but it's like, it was weird. And also like the accusations against JEJ were about PCA autographs. Yeah. So I was like, oh, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know if that was some kind of like, like, I don't know if he said to him once, like when he was signing for him, he's like, hey, like, can I do a signing or something? And like PCA is like, yeah, whatever, kid, or something. Like, I don't know what the hell that was, but I saw it once, and then he kind of didn't mention it. So I don't really know what the deal is there, but it's just.
Did he say who he was trying to get at the con? Well, like, was he getting anybody?
He asked me if I was getting Rodman, and
okay.
I think he said, I can't remember if I asked him if he was also getting Rodman, but
okay.
Yeah, so he was there, but then he did post like his pictures on his Instagram of like, making deals, and then like it's like a bunch of slabbed cards and like a stack of like $100 bills. So
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. This kid is like, yeah, he is making it happen, and yeah, I think, I don't know, yeah, when you experience that kind of thing at a young age, it's like, it doesn't encourage you to do other things. It just encourages you to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah, and I feel like the IRS is going to lock this kid up, man. I mean, I don't know if he's paying taxes on that stuff, but okay, yeah. So that was good. Jeremy, something we didn't really talk about on last week's podcast because it kind of unfolded right after we recorded was there was a video recorded at Ronnie's baseball card store. So the baseball card store that Jeremy and I go in together sometimes, or Elite
Sports Cards, I think it's called.
Elite Sports Cards. And we go in there solo sometimes too. It's kind of my go-to because I don't have a car and it's the closest one to me. Jeremy, I know you bop around to some other ones, but anyway, Ronnie is the owner of that shop, and he knows both of us at this point.
Yeah.
A pretty big video in his store dropped on social media. Jeremy, I'm not really on social media, but I think you saw it on Facebook.
There's this guy. I think his name is Brian Pirrip, Pirrip. So he posts like card videos, like where he like opens boxes. He goes into stores and like buys boxes or packs and opens them, and like his whole thing is always like he'll get a box and he'll give packs to people to open because he's like trying to like spread the joy of cards and your childhood like chases for cards and stuff like that. And it seems like a very like positive, like good spirited, like wholesome video channel. Like he like catches these people and he opens cards with them, and sometimes he does it with players, and it's like it always brings people joy whenever they like open these cards and stuff. So it's kind of a positive. It's definitely like a positive type of social media channel.
Yeah, it is. And so I guess it may as well be said, Ronnie is sometimes in there, and it's cool to interact with him. But he also has an employee when Ronnie's not in there. There's another guy who minds the shop. And Jeremy, you were just talking about this guy and how he's just not very, he's just not very personable.
Yeah. I went in to buy some Topps update, which came out a couple weeks ago, and I think it comes out on a Wednesday, and I went in on like Thursday. I like was tied up and forgot to kind of stop in on Wednesday, so I went in on Thursday, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I always go in there and I buy like 6 or 8 packs or whatever just to rip and whatever. And so I came in on Thursday, fully expecting them to have them, and so I'm like, you got any update? And the guy like just, I mean, yeah, Jack, I don't know. We didn't really finalize how deep we were gonna go with all this, but the guy was just not helpful at all about like just what so I've said like, do you have it? And he's like, no, it's coming probably maybe tomorrow or the next day. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, was it like delayed or something? And he's like, no. And like, so then I was like, okay. And like, just behind the scenes baseball card stuff, like Topps was recently, like not recently, but like several years ago was bought by Fanatics. And they've definitely overhauled a lot of the stuff. They've cut out a lot of the small guys, and it really sucks. A lot of like the breakers, like the guys who open up the cases, I would break with them, and like a lot of them have been kind of like forced out of business just because Topps, they can't get the product from Topps anymore. So Fanatics has jerked around people, and I feel like they've jerked around the stores as well. And so I said to him, I'm like, so is you guys getting jerked around by Fanatics a lot, like getting shipments late? And he's like, no, it's just isn't here, just late. And I'm like, okay, all right. I'm like, well, okay, I'll check in later. And I knew I was going to the card show, so I'm like, well, I'm probably not gonna get any cards from them because I'll have a box afterwards. But I was just relaying that story to you, Jack, over text, and it's almost like when you talk about something and like it shows up in your feed. This video dropped, and I get this guy anyway, so it wasn't that thing. I would have seen the video anyway, but he randomly went. He was in Chicago. He's based in California. He randomly went into a bunch of like different card shops in Chicago area, and he went into Elite, into the shop, and yeah, the guy was just not charismatic or helpful in any way, really.
No. So the host of the show wanted to find a 1983 Donruss Ryan Sandberg rookie card. That's what he was looking for, Jeremy, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So like right before he walks in the store, he looks at the camera and he's like, "This place will have 83 Donruss." Kind of winking at the audience, like, "Oh yeah, this is a cool card shop. It'll have it here."
Yep.
So he walks in and he asks the store attendant. He's like, "Hey, do you guys have 1983 Donruss?" And this guy's just like, "No, we don't have that." And then you'll have, I don't know the exact like order of the questions he asks, but I think the next thing he asked was, what kind of cards do you have a favorite card that you have? And the guy's like, no, I don't. And he's like, well, what kind of cards do you like to open? And the guy's like, just baseball. It was just a shit show, man. Like this guy, he didn't give any good answers to anything. The most low-hanging fruit of questions, and like this guy couldn't even answer him. Like he'd never seen a card before.
He's surrounded by hundreds of thousands of baseball cards, and he couldn't name one card that he liked. Like he could have just looked at something and been like, oh, that card I like, or like, yeah, he'd look and he sees like a Ken Griffey card. It's like, Ken Griffey, I like Ken Griffey. Like, it's like, just the guy was giving him nothing, and like he was trying to like, and the guy is super nice. Like, it's not like some kind of like fast talking like influencer kind of guy. Like, this is like a super chill, like nice guy, and and I think he was just trying to give him any sort of like easy entry, and the guy just was not reciprocating at all. It's brutal to watch.
It is. And so the comments on the YouTube video, and I think you shared a couple of the Facebook ones with me too, Jeremy, are just tearing this guy apart, like, saying how the owner of the store should can this guy with like a garbage can emoji, and like, I've been in that store before and that guy's been no help, et cetera, et cetera.
I think they said he should work at a gas station or something.
Yeah. So yeah, it was not good. The whole thing, unfortunately, it was not a good look for Elite Sports Cards in Ronnie's store either. So Ronnie has a booth at the Spectacular.
We knew he would be there. Yeah.
We knew he would be there. So we were like, all right, well, we gotta talk to him about this video a little bit. But I think the question was like how to tactfully bring it up. So first thing we did was we just kind of headed right over there and started talking to him, and it was kind of sneakily. It was almost like it was brought up in such a way where it seemed like it was Ronnie's idea to bring it up.
Yeah. I know. We didn't really discuss the game plan, but I just said to him. So Ronnie was always in that shop, and I live 2 blocks away from it. So I'm in there a lot. So I would see him a lot, and that's how he knows me, whatever. But a couple of years ago, he opened up a shop all the way on the edge of town, if not even, it's technically in the suburb. I think it's like on the very edge of Chicago. And I guess he lives closer to there, so he's in there more often. And this guy is at this other shop. And it sucks because Ronnie will usually give me like, a little bit of a, knock off a couple bucks or something. And this guy doesn't really do that. So I have my own ulterior motives. But I walked in and I walked up to him and I'm like, I think we said maybe 1 or 2 things like, how's the show going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, so are you mostly at the other shop these days?
Yeah.
and he's like, yeah. He's like, he goes, yeah, but I'm going to change that.
Yep.
I'm going to change that. And we're like, oh, yeah. And even at that point, like, I kind of like, I wasn't fully sure if he was talking about that, but I like kind of thought that he was talking about that. And if that was all he said, I would have been like, oh yeah, that was his way of saying like, yeah, I saw the video and I'm pissed off. But then he got into it more.
Yeah, oh, he did. And so he was ticked, first of all, because the guy asked him for a 1983 Donruss, and the shop attendant just said no right off the bat. And he's like, yeah, like the guy asked something, you just said no. He's like, first of all, like I have that card, but even if you don't know if I have it, at least say like, yeah, I'll look around for it. He's like, yeah, from an owner's perspective, it's just different. And I get what he's saying too, because like it was poor customer service to just turn the guy down right away.
Yeah.
So he was ticked off about that. Also, apparently they had the card that the guy was looking for, and like the guy didn't know it. So that's another strike against him. And I think the most damning thing we found out was that the guy never told Ronnie that somebody was in there filming. So Ronnie found out about it when he went on social media. And basically, he said he shit a brick when he saw it.
He's like, he didn't even tell me about it. He's like, I had to find out on social media. And he's like, and when I saw it, I was like, ooh. He like made that face like he was like he put his both hands in like in fists and was just like shaking him like, ooh. He's like, I'm about to shit a brick. Like, and like we were kind of like laughing, but also like, oh yeah. And before he even got into it, he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm gonna be around there more often. He's like, yeah, because this guy Brian posted this video, and then I think right away I was like, oh yeah, we saw it,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
and he kind of just went into the whole thing, and he's like, yeah, he's like, if the guy would have looked right there, it's right there in the case, like, it's right around him, like they're all around him, and he's like, I got a set. He's like, I could have brought him over. I could have just, if they would have just told me, I would have just brought him. I would have brought him everything he wanted. And he was just like apoplectic about like all this stuff. He's like, oh man. He's like, oh yeah, that's a big video. That could have been big for me, and and this, this guy just, he kind of blew it, and like, and yeah, he was just like just beside himself, and yeah, and so like, and I was like, I started saying like, oh well, have you talked to him? Like maybe he can come back or something. And he's like, yeah, I reached out to him, and I said, I got the card, I got it. You just caught me. Like if I was there, I could have shown it to you. And he's like, I'm like, well, yeah, maybe he'll be back or something. And he's like, yeah. I think at the National, like we were talking, and I was like, yeah, you should like have him do like a follow up or like a make good or something. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna sit him down, and I'm gonna give him all 3 rookie cards, like because Sandberg has like 3 prominent rookie cards. He's like, I'll give him all 3, I'll give him whatever he wants. And Ronnie was just like so like exasperated by this, and it almost felt like he had bottled it in until like he started talking to us.
Yep.
But I also feel like he's probably said the same thing like multiple times now, and he still hasn't really gotten it out of his system.
No, for sure. He was like, yeah, I'm going to show him that, you come to Chicago, you're going to find a Ryan Sandberg card. Like, I'm going to get you a Ryan Sandberg card. Yeah. And then he kept saying, yeah, well, he went to 7 other card shops, and he didn't find the card. So he's like, I don't feel that bad. Like, he went to all these other ones, he didn't have it either. But that was just totally him rationalizing the fact that he did feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, man, if I was in his shoes, though, I would have had the same reaction. So I can, I feel for him. But it's just like what a total, flub, like from just from the get go, especially with this other shop owner. So from our perspective, though, that was exactly what we wanted, and we got it. Couldn't have played out any better in terms of what we were looking for from that interaction.
100%, and it was also within the first definitely first half hour that we were there.
Yep.
So we got that out of the way pretty quick. So it was pretty funny. And I was like, I feel like I was like, I think I asked you, Jack, I'm like, I don't know, was I like being too much of a peacemaker or too much of I forgot what word I used, but I'm like, I was like, yeah, just have him back, and just you guys can kind of like acknowledge it. Like I was saying, I don't think I got into it with Ronnie, but I was like, you guys should do a thing where like you show a flashback of him coming the first time and saying like, and like kind of make fun of the fact that he was told no, and it's like now the owner's here and he's gonna like, fix it all or make it all right or whatever. So I think it could be a good video if they follow up on it. And Ronnie was saying like, yeah, we're gonna do that. And I said to Ronnie, I'm like, well, just make sure he's recording it. And he's like, yeah. So it was just a funny exchange, and I don't know what to say about it, but it was just it was a comedy of errors, like the whole thing, I guess, really.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, that'll be. I guess it'll be interesting, the future of Elite Sports Cards. So we'll see if the other guy is still there the next time we're there. I have a feeling he will be. Ronnie's a nice guy.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, so that whole thing wrapped up, and then right after that, we passed by this guy that we call the Godfather. You can see him on our social media, the Instagram. Snuck a picture of him last year.
Yeah.
But this year, Jeremy, he seemed to have cleaned up his act a little bit. He wasn't dressed as much like the Godfather as he was last year.
Yeah, and when you say by just as much like the Godfather, like he looked like a pimp. Like he looked like, even if the Godfather wasn't a pimp character, or this guy struck a resemblance to him, if you saw him just without knowledge of the Godfather wrestling character, you'd be like, oh, why is this guy dressed up like a pimp? Just like big like dark sunglasses, and like just like really loud clothing, and like I almost want to say he had a hat on like the Godfather, like that big like felt top hat or something. But this guy, yeah. So we talked about him last year episode, and he was there. A lot of these guys end up getting like they give them like kind of like the same table in the same area, and so the Godfather is right in the same area. The old timer who sells like the overpriced DVDs of old broadcasts is in the same spot. Ronnie's usually in the same spot too. So like these guys end up kind of getting the same spots, which is probably easy for the promoter because they don't have to like redo the floor plan. They just like plug and play. But yeah, so it's kind of nice that we can kind of count on the Godfather to be in the same spot. And yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so he looked slightly. He still looked peculiar as hell, but slightly less like the Godfather, I guess, than he did last year. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think he's there at the March shows too. So it'll be interesting to see if he's there for that, and then like a year from now what he transforms into.
Yeah, Jeremy, I probably referenced this last year, but I think you'd stopped watching wrestling at this point. But do you remember the Good Father?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that.
Yeah,
was
okay.
after.
It was like there was this stable called Right to Censor, which I think was Vince McMahon's way of making fun of all of the people who wanted to censor him. But I forget who the other people were in that. But yeah, the Godfather was one of them, and he dressed in like this plain white shirt with a black tie and black pants, or he looked like a total narc. So whatever, who knows? Maybe like 5 years down the road, that's how the Godfather of our convention is going to dress.
I was gonna say like it would be cool if he came dressed up like Papa Shango next time. Which was the Godfather's first gimmick in the WWF, I think.
Yep. Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, so we anyway, no real interaction with him, but we passed him up. We looked at a few other cards. I mean, there's just at these conventions, there's just so much to look at. In the cases, all the different autographs, pack pulled stuff that they have. It's interesting to look at it and then look at the prices and what they're selling it for. So we probably spent a good 15 or 20 minutes just browsing that, really with no intention to buy, but it's just fun to point at a card and be like, oh yeah, look at that one. It costs that much. Wow, that one's cool. This is Sal Frelick. His autograph really is that bad, So
Yeah.
we passed by a whole bunch of things and we walked around a little bit. And eventually, Jeremy, I think after you purchased your autograph tickets, you were like, I want to get, I have some cards that I want to get graded. So you went to go do that at one of the stands.
Yeah, I picked up my autograph tickets. I had like pre-purchased them, so I was just picking them up for the weekend, and I wanted to drop off some cards to get authenticated. Like, so they're cards that have been like autographed. These are ones I picked up on eBay, not any of the ones that I got in person. But CGC is a grading company that will do autograph authentication and then like encapsulate it in like these cases, just like graded cards. So I was the plan was to drop a bunch of them off. I ended up like kind of like going through, you kind of like go to their computer system, like they have these computers set up and you have to kind of log in your account and like kind of put together the whole order. It was like it turned in it's kind of a pain in the butt to like kind of fill this out, and it was my first time doing it with this company, so it took a while. And like I know a guy who does like bulk submissions, so you can get them for cheaper, but I was just doing two, so it's pretty pricey to do it. But I dropped off a Bob Uecker card that I got on eBay, and a Buddy Ryan card, so two deceased sports legends. So I picked those up for a little cheaper, and then getting them. Honestly, neither one of those guys have any like authenticated like pack pulled autographs, so it was just the next best thing that you could possibly do. But I went through that whole process. I wanted to do it there at the show because number one, I don't have to mail it in, and number two, I wanted the guy to walk me through it, and he kind of set me up to do it, and then kind of like walked away. But at some point I called him over and I'm like, hey man, like I want to actually go through this with you to make sure I'm putting in all the right info. So it was a process for sure.
Yeah, it seemed to take you a while, Jeremy, and so which is fine. You were just doing your thing, so I was like, all right, well, Jeremy's doing this. I'm gonna go just kind of browse and walk around a little bit.
I thought maybe you might want to like go with, in case you ever like end up doing that, like you could see like what, like how to fill it out and stuff. But
oh yeah. That's actually a good point. Because are the autographs that you have, were those were in person, right? Like the Euchre one, that was an in person autograph, right?
in person, not by me, but yes, like
right.
You know, somebody, right. Yeah, so yeah, it might have been either through the mail or in person, but I, you know, you look at eBay and you can see like hundreds of autographs by these guys, so you can kind of like become your own like authenticator, you know, in a way. Like if you look at the autograph and it looks like the other 100 that are on eBay, you can usually kind of like rest assured that it's legit. So, you know, that's probably good enough, but I wanted to just get it slabbed, you know, just have someone else authenticate it. So
yeah, 100%. But yeah, anyway, while you were doing that, I had some downtime, so I decided to, you know, just browse around a little bit. I looked at a bunch of different things, and, you know, there was some interesting stuff. But I think I might have even mentioned this last year, but I like pennants. I think pennants are really cool. And so there was this guy who had this stand, and he had a whole bunch of pennants there. And, you know, they were older, and I was just kind of looking through them. And I looked through this one stack, and about two or three from the top, I saw that he had a County Stadium final season 1953 to 2000 pennant, and it had a picture of County Stadium on it, and the old Brewers logo. And I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And it was just for $10. And so he was, I was like, hey, you know, is this one just $10? And he's like, yeah, it is. He was kind of like from the South, and I was like, oh yeah, cool. You know, I think I want to buy this one. I had a lot of good memories at County Stadium when I was a kid. And he's like, I never had this pennant before. I just picked it up. And I was like, all right, well, thanks. He was kind of a cool guy. But yeah, I got this pennant, and it was a total win, Jeremy. Just for $10, it was a steal. And I put it up in my office yesterday, and today somebody actually noticed it. They're like, "Oh, you got a new pennant." I was like, "Hell yeah, I did." So yeah, it was cool, total win, and also a steal too at just $10. I get, you know, priced pretty low because I'm the amount of people who would want that pennant it's not many people. You know, I'm definitely the market for that. But yeah, it was good, and pennants are expensive too. Like, you know, most of the pennants sell for $50, $60, sometimes over $100. So I was pretty happy with that purchase.
Yeah, that's a pretty perfect one for you, I would say. So
oh yeah,
that's pretty cool. And yeah, I think I don't know. I have a couple myself, and yeah, they are fun. The office I used to work at, sports statistics office, the guy there had like a huge collection. He had not as many as the guy who's selling there, but he had like several dozen like really old vintage pennants that probably could have sold for what the prices you're talking about. So yeah. I think he just like brought them in and put them up in the office, which was kind of cool. So yeah, they are cool for sure.
They're cool. They're hard to transport. If you're going to be carrying a pennant around all night, it's kind of a pain in the ass. Or just like if you're going to bring it to work, like you kind of just have to have it out in the open, or like put it in, you know, if you put it in your backpack, you risk bending it. So yeah, but they are very, very cool. And you don't see them much anymore. So that was cool. But I think you alluded to this before. It's easy to get split up and just lose track of the other guys. So after I bought that, I think I had to text you to try to figure out where you were, because we just, you know, we had been separated for so long.
Yeah, I had kind of milled around that area, and I was looking for you, but then I saw like there's a stand by the autograph booth where they sell the tickets that sells photos, 8x10s and like 16x20, I think is the size, like the big ones. Really nice, like beautiful, like looking like photos printed on good quality paper, shiny, all that stuff. And I've seen photos there before. I'm not, you know, we're card guys, but there's a couple of photos there that I wanted, that I kind of would have wanted to buy just to buy, just to have, because either I might get those signed at some point. Like there was one from like Wilson Contreras's debut. He hit a home run on the first pitch he saw, and I was at that game. So it was like, and there's not a Topps Now card, or maybe there is a Topps Now card of it, but it's a different photo. So I thought that one would be cool just to have, and then maybe get signed at some point. I saw like a Rizzo last out of the NLCS against the Dodgers, which I was at too. So like I would maybe ultimately like to get that signed. So I started talking to this photo guy, and I was talking to him for a while, and so like I by that point I had definitely lost you, or like, you know, I figured you might have come back in that area, and I might have been over there. So yeah, we texted. I was also texting with a guy. So I know a guy from Facebook through cards. He's in this Tops Now group that I'm in on Facebook, and he buys a lot of Tops Now cards. He flies the country, like every weekend to go to different card shows. Like mostly like, I feel like Chicago is probably the furthest, west that he goes, but he's been here like 3 times this year. I've seen him more than some of my friends that live, you know, in my neighborhood. Yeah, and he goes to shows all up like the Eastern Seaboard. And he gets like 5, 6, 7 guys every time. More than that. I'd say like 8 to 10 guys every show. I don't know how he does it. But yeah, he like just goes around. He knows all the like promoter guys, and like he knows like all the people like who run the shows. So he's a good contact to have. You know, he's a card guy, so he's a little socially awkward probably. But yeah, so I ran into did I already meet up with you and then he showed up, or was I talking to him already? I can't remember.
I think that you were maybe talking to him, and you maybe texted me like, yeah, like just talking to my friend here or whatever. So yeah, I think I kind of came upon you guys. Okay. And yeah, you introduced me to him, and I guess just the one note I have about him, just you know, aside from the, you know, the kind of summary you gave about him, is just that like we went for a handshake, he and I, but like I kind of put my hand out, and then like he didn't put it out right away, so I wasn't sure if he actually wanted to, so I sort of put my hand back, but then he did put his hand out for the shake, and I was like, okay, this is happening. And so like we whiffed on the handshake, Jeremy. I don't know if
I don't know if you saw that. I didn't see that.
Yeah,
no.
But like his thumb hit the webbing between my thumb and forefinger, and then so we actually had to like, you know, we had to recalibrate and like get our hands in the proper position to do the handshake. Like it was not a good handshake at all. So we failed on that.
That's funny. Yeah, he seems very scattered a lot of times, and like sometimes you'll ask him like very direct, pointed questions, and like he won't give you like the answer to the question you've asked. So
yep.
it's weird at times. But yeah, again, he's like a good contact to have, because he's at most of these shows. There was a funny incident that happened on Sunday. I'll get more into that at the end, but I met up with him and like 2 of my other friends, and one of my friends, we call him the Q Man, not because he's into QAnon, but his name begins with Q. But he got like some photo printouts at the photo booth. And Jack, by the way, you know, they offer like photo ops, you know, with these guys. You could pay like extra to get a photo with them. If you go to the Chicago Sports Spectacular website, they have like a photo ops gallery. You can just see everyone's photo ops like on the thing. Yeah. So like, you know, if I paid to get my picture with Rick Sutcliffe, I get it, you know, I get a copy of it, but anyone could just go to the website and see my picture with Rick Sutcliffe. It would be weird. It is weird. So like, the guy who we're talking about, the jet setter, the auto jet setter, his pictures are on there, and then Q-Man's pictures are up there too. Okay. It was weird. But Q-Man got his photos, and then he brought jet setter's photos over to him also, because he saw them and he's like, oh, this is that guy. Let me bring him to his. And then the guy goes like, okay, I wasn't gonna get these yet. I was gonna get them later. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was helping you out. And he's like, it's okay, I'll go put them back. And then he like went and put them back on the table. And it's like, this is just fucking awkward. Like the whole thing is just weird. So, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, he's a weird guy. And I saw him like, you know, the next 2 days also. So
yeah.
So we were, we were buying stuff. We did end up buying a few things, so we can kind of run through those pretty quickly.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
in the market for a box of updates. So Jeremy, you ordered yours from Topps. We were texting about it, so you got yours for like $95 plus maybe shipping, whatever, from Topps, which is cheaper. And this is about a week before the con. And I was just like, well, I'm just not confident that it's going to ship to me in time. It probably would have. I mean, in retrospect, you got yours right away.
Yeah.
My one and only experience ordering Topps cards, it did take a couple weeks to get there, but also that's because I think I pre-ordered. So whatever. I was just like, I think that the safest thing to do is just to buy at the con, because of course we have the tradition of afterward we take a box back to my apartment and we rip them together, which is always fun. So
Yep.
yeah, I was in the market for a box of updates. The standard price for that seemed to be about $150, which is a hell of a lot more than you paid from Topps itself, which makes sense. That they would gouge a little bit, but yeah, so $150 was like the kind of the standard price at a couple of booths. But we did see Baseball Card King, so BCK. They have a big booth there, and they were selling for I think $139 maybe.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's probably about as good as I know. That's as good as I'm gonna get for this. So yeah. Anyway, I ended up buying a box of updates from them, which I was pretty happy about. I also bought just some supplies as well, so some top loaders and some sleeves as well. It was a reasonable standard price for that. It's easier than ordering from Amazon and having to wait for it. So yeah, that was a pretty successful buy. I was pretty happy about that. I also finally bought some Jaws 2 cards. So they were selling Jaws 2 singles. So I got 3 Roy Scheider centric Jaws 2 cards, which was pretty cool. And at that same stand, so I should say with those Jaws 2 cards, he was selling them for 50 cents a piece. But I came up to him for 3, and the guy said, "Give me $1 whole for those." So I did, and I did have some petty cash on me. I had maybe $13 in cash. So and I didn't realize that, Jeremy, or remember it till after I'd till after everything had cleared up, at the at the beginning. So anyway, whatever, it was fine. But yeah, bought those Jaws 2 cards, which was cool. And Jeremy, at that same stand, they had a bunch of signed 68 Tigers cards, Detroit Tigers, and you have a little bit of a connection to that team from your time on the floor, so that was also pretty neat.
Yeah, it was cool. They had Gates Brown and Norm Cash and Jim Northrup and stuff like that. I went back on Sunday and I saw they had a Bill Freehan, which was cool. I didn't take a picture of them. And I figured afterwards I was kind of regretting it because I'm like, oh, that's an excuse to send them to my friend Haley, whose dad is John Warden, who was on the 68 Tigers, who I've met and had amazing stories, told to me by him. So it was an excuse to send something, just to kind of keep the lines of communication open. So that Sunday when I went back, I was looking for that vendor again, to take some pictures. And it was I ended up doing that. And I took the pictures, and I kind of felt weird taking pictures of this guy's cards. So I'm like, oh yeah, I like your 68 Tigers. And I'm like, yeah, I know a guy who was on the team. And he's like, oh yeah, who? And I'm like, John Warden. He's like, oh yeah, he was on that team. And so that was kind of cool. And we talked about the 68 Tigers. He's like, I'm from Detroit. And he's like, yeah, that team, a lot of those guys don't get recognized like they should. So it was pretty cool. That's kind of what I said with John Warden too. But so that was cool to be able to do that. And I ended up just doing just that, texting back and forth with Haley. And so that was cool. I saw you buying those Jaws cards though, and I knew that they were only going to be $1 most. And I was like, uh-oh, what's he going to do here? Because I was away. And then I saw that you had a couple. I'm like, you pulled out some cash. I'm like, oh, he probably just had a couple bucks on him.
Yeah.
And again, this will come into play later. Real quick, Jack, we're over time. We're going long here, but I got to ask you, I figured on the podcast is a good enough place to ask you. Do you call Topps updates because who was it? Mark Leiter called them that?
Yeah, well, so yeah, he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to be in the updates. Yeah, that's what he said to me.
Yeah, it's funny. It makes me think of that all the time when you say that. So
yeah, is that what they're officially called, or is that am I wrong on
it's
that?
It's Topps update, but update
Right.
updates is it's semantics really. But it's funny, like, you know, I think because I don't think, was I there when he said that? I think maybe
No,
it was just you, right?
I was there alone, and I
Yeah.
actually flagged him down because he was just coming out of that area where they come out, but he was on a scooter, and he
Yeah.
had just kind of paused momentarily. I don't know if it was to wait for traffic or just because he was texting or something, but yeah, I came up to him and I was like, "Hey, Mark, do you have time for one?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll sign for you." And then like it was his heritage card on the Phillies, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I had to order that one of you." And he's like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna be in the updates." So that was cool, and I might have actually gotten him on his update too, which was nice. But yeah, anyway, it is because of Mark Leiter.
Yeah, that's cool. So I don't know. Yeah, so that was good. So you got your cards, and we were gonna go home and rip afterwards.
Yep.
I ended up going to this one stand. This guy had this stack of like oversized Topps cards, like 80s Topps cards, mostly 85 and 86. They're like 5x7, I believe, is the size. And I still don't remember like if I've ever seen those before. And like I asked him about him, he's like, yeah, they sold them, you know, separately or whatever. I was like, these aren't customs. They look real. He's like, yeah, no, they sold them like you only get one in a pack. And so he had a whole stack of them, and he had some of them in like frames and stuff, like for display. And I started looking through them, and like we saw some guys who like some like Cubs that we could maybe get signed at the convention, and I was like considering some of them, and then like I flipped through and I saw a Mark Langston 85 card, which is like his technical rookie card. He has like a extended rookie card in the 84 Topps update, or Topps traded is what it was called back then. But yeah, so like when I saw that, I was like, okay, I got to get these. And it was like they were like $10 each, or like 2 for $15 with frame, it said. And I was like, with frame, that's weird. Like maybe he charges for the frame. And so I bought the 2 cards, and he's like, okay, let me get you 2 frames. And then he had to like move like all these like Tupperware bins, or these Rubbermaid bins, to try to find the frames. And he gave me like 2 photo frames with these cards. It was like,
Yeah.
you know, I know like photo frames can be affordable, but I was like, this is like extravagant. And like I almost wanted to tell him like, it's okay, man, you don't have to give me the frames. But I'm like, in his, you know, when he was like putting his stuff together, he was like, oh, I'm gonna get some frames and give them away with these cards. So like, you know, so now I have two frames here. I don't know if I'm actually gonna frame those cards, but yeah, it was just kind of funny. I'll find something else to put in there, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, he did. I think you did buy a Gary Matthews one, so it'd be easy enough to get that one signed and framed. Now, like you said, is it worth getting a Gary Matthews, like one of those framed? Maybe the Mark Langston. I don't know about Matthews, but anyway, still cool to have. And yeah, one hell of a deal too. That was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was super nice. So that was cool. I also went to a stand, and a guy was selling he had the 1989 Topps Upper Deck set, which is like iconic set. It was the first Upper Deck set. It was the first one on like white card stock. It famously has the Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. It's just like one of the top 10 most iconic cards in the history of baseball cards. So it's a huge, iconic, like important set, and I just never had it as a kid. It was a set that like I wanted as a kid. My friend next door growing up had it, and I envied him. Like I was like green with envy from like for him having that set, because it was just like in 1989 1990 it was just like the most sought after thing like in sports cards. So it was a set that I always wanted. I ended up buying like the 90 and the 91 Upper Deck set for like $5 each, because they were just like crazily overproduced. But I never got the 89. So I kind of, that's something that had been in my like radar to pick up. And I forgot what he was asking for, like $20, I think.
Yeah, it was cheap, but it was without the Griffey, right?
Yeah, it was $20 without the Griffey. And so like I was like, I had looked at the Griffey card. That's a card I've never just picked up. I don't know why. You know, Griffey's not my favorite guy, but it's an iconic card, but I'd never picked it up for whatever reason. So I bought the set, and yeah, the whole set is there, just minus that one card. And I was figuring like, oh, the Griffey won't be that expensive to get on my own. I don't need like a Gem Mint 10 version of it. I'll just get whatever. Then when I got home, I was looking, it's like they were more than I remembered them being. I think they had shot up in price over the last couple months or year or whatever. So, Jack, I ended up buying one later that night.
Okay.
And we had a couple drinks at your place, and I don't know if that helped me pull the trigger, but I got one for a decent price, but it was more than I was kind of like bargaining for, but it's on the way. So I will have the complete now 89 Upper Deck set.
I guess just add it to your tab for this weekend, right?
Yeah, well, that's, it was like I was saying, I think we said at some point that it's time to leave. And then I think we each spent like another $30 or something. So
yeah.
So it was a lot, and it's just honestly, I think it's more dangerous like going with a friend, because I feel like just you're in the mood like to get cards. You're looking at these cards, and like I don't know, that almost makes me like spend more maybe or something. So
sure,
because I didn't buy anything the rest of the weekend like that. So there was a 1981 Donruss set that I was eyeing, and I asked for the price, and I've been eyeing some on like eBay, and they've been ending for right around like $40-$45, and I was only gonna buy it if I could get a deal. The guy, I asked how much, and the guy said he was selling it for $60, and I was like, okay, thanks, and I walked away, and I was like planning to maybe make a deal for it on Sunday, like as the convention was closing, so I can talk more about that later when we get to Sunday. But that was a cliffhanger for the weekend.
Yeah, for sure. So we also, this was getting towards the end of the night when we realized we were getting ready to leave. Probably when we realized that we were both just, keeping on spending money the longer we were there. There was this stand with celebrity autographs. And the autographs were just on like pieces of paper. So it wasn't like
there were some like index cards for sure, which is like people get them on index cards. It said like that they were canceled checks, and there was a couple of those, but mostly just index cards, which is like autograph collectors will get them on index cards.
Yeah, for sure. So that was what these were. And like just they were in like a plastic sleeve with the person's name printed on it, whoever's it was. So they were selling them for $5 a piece, which is a pretty good deal. So Jeremy and I just kind of went through some of them, and they had Dom DeLuise was in there, and I think he even had drawn a sketch.
A little
that would have been a
doodle.
cool one to get. They also had some more expensive autographs too. Like they did have Gary Cooper. I think they were selling him for $550. They had Steve McQueen, who I was looking for last year. They were selling him for $2,000. They had Charles Bronson, who'd written "Good Wishes," on it, and so I thought like "Good Wishes," which is like how he would say it. It's also "Best Wishes," not "Good Wishes." That's
exactly
such a Charles Bronson thing to say. But whatever. That was only $400, so it's like, yeah, man, if I would consider owning that. But anyway, they had in this $5 bin, they had a Tom Sizemore autograph. Tom Sizemore, deceased within the last couple of years. Always liked his acting. He's just kind of a B-movie actor who's in some more famous stuff like Saving Private Ryan. But whatever. Liked him as an actor. Was not a good person. While he was alive, at least he did some very, very questionable things. But I was like, yeah, I would own his autograph for $5. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy this one. And the autograph looked kind of cool too. I did take a picture of it, but I didn't have any cash, and so I went up to the guy who was selling the autos. And right before I asked him, I was like, shit, this guy's gonna tell me to fuck off. And so I was like, hey, I'd like to buy this. And he's like, all right, $5. And I was like, do you take card? And he's like, for $5? And I was like, all right, whatever. And to go back to Ronnie, it's like, what can we at least attempt some good customer service here? Like, you don't have to be an asshole about it. Like, okay, my bad. Like, I haven't paid for, with cash for anything in like a year. I'm sorry I don't have cash on me. But so I was like, all right, I'm going to put the Tom Sizemore back. So I did. I didn't buy a Tom Sizemore autograph. Again, in retrospect, it's like, do I really want people to know that I own that? If, like, enough about Tom Sizemore, maybe not great, but still would have been cool to have. So, I didn't, didn't end up getting it.
Yeah, I was, and it's funny, I had like $5 left in my wallet. I think I said, like, do you want my last $5, Jack? But yeah, like, but yeah, so we can kind of maybe we can kind of group all these together next. Like we ended up, and I'll circle back to the Tom Sizemore, but like we ended up then trying to buy. We decided we were going to get some blaster update blaster boxes. So blasters are those little like rectangular boxes that you buy at like a Target or like Walmart or whatever. Like they're supposed to be a little more entry level, and they're like usually 20. They used to be $20. Now they're like more like 30, and depends on what the product is. But they were selling. We both decided to each get a blaster, and they were selling them at every table, and we were looking for the best prices. And some people were charging like $40 for them. We found one place that had 30. They had them for 30. And so this was right after the rejection for the Tom Sizemore. We went over to buy the update, and then I was the one to first do it, and I tried to buy it. And he's like, okay, $30. And he was just this guy was just standing on the other side of the table. It was weird because it's like, this guy might have just been standing by the table taking people's money, you know?
Yeah.
But he goes like $30, and I go like, can I pay with a card? And he's like, I don't know, not for 30, man. And it's like, well, what is the threshold at this place for a card? Like, you know, $15 admission cash, $5 autograph index card cash, $30 blaster also cash. It's like $30 is a significant amount of money, like, to be taking a card. Like, you should be taking a card for $30.
Yeah, and the way he said it too, Jeremy, I don't think you really captured like the annoyance with which he said that. He was like, not for 30. Like,
yeah.
Come on, I agree. $30 is significant. It's twice what you pay to get into the damn thing. And also, it's like I doubt this guy was the owner of the store, but
No,
like
I know,
you know,
I know what stand it was. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, the card shops or wherever this guy's from, like, they spend all this time to pack up all their crap and bring their stuff to these conventions for the purpose of selling their stuff. And it's like, so you're not going to take my $30? Like, I'm trying to give you $30 for this blaster, and you're just like, no thanks, I'm not going to do that. Like, It's like, no, like, if I was the owner, it's like, yeah, we brought all this product here. Let's try to sell it. So what if we have to pay, you know, a dollar fee on this like $30 purchase here? Let's just try to unload as much of this stuff as we can. But yeah, whatever. I guess like, you know, we couldn't force the guy to take our money in that instance.
Yeah, these guys are just ridiculous. Like, a lot of these sellers, like, they would rather pack the shit back up and take it back across the country with them than get rid of it. So this is anticlimactic, so I'll just say it right now. I went back on Sunday for that 81 Donruss set, and I asked the guy, like, you know, how much are you asking for this? Because it was a different guy, and he actually said 65. So
Okay.
like, it went up $5 in the last, you know, minutes of the show. So I'm like, all right, well, this guy's not. I wanted to get it for 40. I was willing to pay 40, and so I was like, I knew this guy. So I'm like, all right, he asked for more. Like, he's not gonna take my offer, and so I just said to him, I'm like, okay, well, that's a little more than I was ready for. I was like thinking more like 40, and he goes like, yeah, and he's like, it is a nice set. And I'm like, okay, and then I just walked away. And it's like, all right, well, have fun fucking packing that thing back up in your fucking U-Haul and driving it home, because you could have just got rid of it to me for $40, but you know, you're gonna, like, you want 65 for it or 60. So it's like, these people are like ridiculous. And like, I mean, I you know, most people like kind of stress out about the haggling thing. I like love the concept of like saying this is what I'm going to pay, and then when they say no, just being like, okay, and then just walk away. Like, it's like, all right, well, you just lost money. Like, you'd rather keep it than sell it? It's like, maybe you don't get what you want for it, but like, do you want to just keep hauling this thing around?
Yeah.
So
you're not getting anything for it right now.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get anything for it 2 weeks from now, because you, Jeremy, are the only person who wants to buy this thing.
Right, I know, yeah. And then I think, did I say that to you? I was like, I think I said, I'm like, I'm going to try to get him again on Sunday, and if he says no, I want to say to him, like, how many offers did you get for this? How many people asked you about this set while you were here? And then, like, you know, and yeah, I bet like I was the only one who asked about it. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's just ridiculous. And then, yeah, the whole money thing. I actually forgot how I was going to tie it back into the Tom Sizemore thing. I think it was just that the guy still had a huge stack of autographs at the end of the day on Sunday.
Yeah.
So it's like he didn't, he didn't sell it. I think the thing what I was going to say is, so we ended up going to another table. So we left that guy. We didn't buy his blasters for 30. We found another table that had him for 30, and I'm like, can I pay for card? Pay for it with a card. And he goes like, do you got Venmo or PayPal? And we were like, yes, we do. And so we just paid. We Venmo'd him for the blaster. But it's like this guy was actually trying to problem solve. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, let's see what we can work out here. And it's like the $5 guy was just like no. The other guy was like no. And it's like, how about just trying to fucking solve the problem? Like, we live in 2025. There's a million different ways we could work this out. And like this guy was actually like, can you pay with Venmo? I was like, yes, we can. No problem.
Yeah, it was easy, and then he asked us just put an emoji for like the what's it for thing. So
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, just put a piece of pizza or something. That's fine.
Yeah, I go like
And
I started doing it, and I was like, I'm like, okay, pizza, and he's like, yeah, I like to put pizza.
Yeah, because I think I was just gonna put a smiley face or something like that, but yeah, obviously they do that for tax reasons.
Yeah.
Because I think like you can give people gifts or whatever, and like that's not taxable. But if they find out it's for your business, like whatever,
Same
they could,
thing. Same thing with like NCAA tournaments, like pools. Like don't put pool, and
Yep.
they always say like don't put pool in the notes and whatnot.
Yep. Yeah. Same concept. So whatever. Yeah, we paid under the table for these cards. So it's cool. And Jeremy, like you said, it was nice to get that blaster because it provided an appetizer for opening the box. so that was good.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess we can just kind of jump right to that.
Yeah.
So we left the show. I stopped back at my place to get my hobby box. We headed back to your place. And we did the annual tradition of ripping and having some beers.
Yeah, it was fun, Jeremy. But as per usual, I had a horseshoe up my ass when we were ripping together.
Yeah.
I got an Otani relic, which was cool. So we were talking on the way home, like, it's brutal to get a relic in a box. Like, I think the last box of Heritage I opened, I got a Nick Castellanos relic, and it's like, well, that's not great. That's not a great box. So you always want the autograph. But if you're going to get a relic, you might as well get an Otani relic. Like, that's like the one, aside from maybe Skeens, but I think maybe Otani's better than that. Like, that's the one you want.
Well, and I made the point at that time, it's like that Otani relic is worth more than like 60% of the autographs you probably would have pulled from the box from the product anyway. So it's like that Otani relic was worth like $80 or something.
Yep.
And it was a cool one. And you could have picked anybody else's like autograph. Chase Dollander, I think, was who I ended up going with. And it's like, yeah, that's worth more than a Chase Dollander autograph that you could have picked, that you could have pulled from the pack. So like right there, that was like, all right, Jack, Jack magic once again.
It was, but I wasn't done yet, Jeremy.
Wasn't done yet, yeah.
So yeah, I opened another pack. This was maybe 5 packs later, and I got this crazy, like, you know what it's called, but basically it's like a wooden card, but it's got Zach Nito's autograph on it as well. It's like his actual bat, a piece of his bat that like he autographed. It looked super difficult for him to sign too. It was amazing. You can tell the name of it in a second. I still need to find a way to sleeve this card. It's in a box in like a drawer of mine. I'm like afraid to take it out and touch it and look at it. But it's a $300 card. Freaking crazy. I don't really care what the price is. It's just a cool as fuck card. I'm lucky to have it. But yeah, and what is it exactly called, Jeremy? Tell me about this card.
Yeah, the series, like the whatever parallel or subset or whatever it's called, or insert, it's called Heavy Lumber. And so yeah, it's basically I saw them do this a couple years ago. They'll actually print the card on like a thin sheet of wood. So the card itself, like the design is printed on like a thin sheet of wood. It's like a thick, like 180 point or 130 point card. So it's thick. It's like the thickness of like maybe like 7 regular cards or something like that, 6 or 7 regular cards, and it has like the thin sheet of wood on it, and then it has a bat relic in it, so it's like wood in wood. It's like a wood, bat relic inside of like this wood card, and then he signs on the actual bat relic, which is really cool. They're not numbered, but they're super limited, and and Jack hit it, so there you go.
There was no explaining it. It was my second insert. But hey, that's why you pay $139 for a box. It's like you never know what you're gonna get in these things. So that's why it's fun. That's what makes the hobby fun.
Yeah.
Jeremy, I think you got a couple relics. I don't recall what your first one was, but you did get a Matt Boyd relic too, right at the end. So that one was cool.
Yeah, right after you pulled your Ohtani, I pulled a Ben Rice rookie relic, which is not that bad, but I looked it up and it's like it's an $8 relic, so it's 10 times less than what yours is worth. But yeah, it was fine. And then and you're only supposed to get 1 hit per box. You like that Nito card is like considered a special hit, so I think that's why you got the bonus. But I randomly hit a bonus relic in mine, and it was Matthew Boyd, and it was an all-star relic, and so it saved it for me in terms of like sentimental value, but like certainly not monetary value. But it was it was just a little something at the end to like kind of like help salve the wounds a little bit. But it was cool. It was it was a fine card, and I might even get it signed at Cubs convention, so that would be cool too.
Yeah. And so Jeremy, you went back the next couple days too, so let's hear about that real quick.
Yeah, I'll try to wrap it up as quick as possible, but it was an eventful weekend. So I went back on Saturday to get John Cusack. I think I talked about it last episode. Rain Delay Theater listener Zach, former guest, chimed in about Better Off Dead. So he's a Better Off Dead fan. So yeah, I ended up going. Basically, I was trying to find a picture to get printed out, and I ended up making this like collage with like 3 different like images from Better Off Dead, and I had heard that he doesn't like the movie, so I put it up. I went up in line, I got him, I put the photo in front of him, and he started signing it, and I just said like, "Hey John, I just want to say like this movie really means a lot to me," and he kind of like looked up at me like kind of interested, and just like gave me a fist bump. He was like, all right, fist bump. Like, he didn't really say anything, but he just fist bumped me. I'm like, hey, all right. And I fist bumped him back. So it was cool. He seemed like in like nice spirits, which was good. Cause you'd heard things about him. I think he's maybe he's like chilled out a little bit in his like older age or something. But, and so then I mentioned, something to him about, this musician, Liz Phair. Indie rock musician. She kind of went like mainstream a little bit and moved to LA, but she's from Chicago. She's from Evanston. Came out with 2 really seminal, one really seminal like indie rock album in like 1993, Exile and Guyville. And so for the like 20th anniversary of it, or 20th anniversary, she put out like this reissue, and there's like a DVD that comes with it, and it's her like talking with different people about the album, and John Cusack is on it. Like it's her and John Cusack talking about the album. And so I said to him, I'm like, hey, I also liked that interview like thing that you did with Liz Phair. And he goes like, I did an interview with Liz Phair? And I'm like, yeah, it was for the reissue of Exile. And he's like, oh yeah, I guess I did do that. So it was kind of funny. Like I stumped him on it. This moment was documented by that jet setter, the autograph jet setter, who I ran into on Saturday. He went through the line with me, and he took pictures for me of me like meeting Cusack, because I didn't pay for the photo op, but he ended up like taking these pictures of me and him talking at the table. So that was even cooler, honestly. So it was
and
cool.
he does have a confused look on his face in that picture, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's funny. He captured that exact moment where I like stumped him. So it's kind of funny. He was a little spacey, but like, in a very chill way. Like he was very chill. And it was cool. Honestly, it was like so much better than I thought it would be, or feared that like it would be. So it was all very good. And like he didn't say anything about better off dead, but he did like fist bump me, and then like it was funny. I used my marker, and when I was trying to get it back, he thought I was going for another fist bump, so we gave like another fist bump.
Nice.
So it was funny. So that was great. I felt really great about that exchange. Sunday rolls along, and I roll over to the autograph section, and I almost texted you this, Jack, in the moment, but I'm like, save it for the podcast. But you have any guesses of who I saw over like going to get? I don't know whose autograph he was going to get, but he was in the autograph section.
Was it Dennis?
Wasn't Dennis? No, Dennis.
Okay.
Dennis ain't paying for it.
No, I that's what I was gonna say. I didn't want to guess that because it's like, no, Dennis is never gonna pay for anything. Yeah, who was it?
It was Sweatpants Guy.
Oh my God! And I think we mentioned that last week that we were gonna see Sweatpants Guy. So there he was, huh?
I think that I even like Friday night, I was like, oh man, we didn't see Sweatpants Guy, you know?
Yep.
And Jack, I'm happy to report he was wearing sweatpants. He was wearing like these like blue sweatpants, and he was just marching off to get his autograph. So he was just he was doing his thing. He was on brand. So that was funny. One thing that did happen Sunday morning, I got there and I was by the autograph table, and I saw someone. I saw someone up to the side. He was like talking to one of the attendees on the side, and I hear the attendee say like, yeah, we're thinking he's not going to be here, so let's just we'll see, but we think that he's not going to show up. And I was like, oh, I wonder who that was. And I go over and I see my friend Q-Man, and he's a big Cubs fan, and I'm like, yeah, waiting to get Sutcliffe, and he's like, oh, did you hear? He's like, yeah, they can't find Sutcliffe. Like, they can't get a hold of him. Like, they think they're like, he's either going to be late or he's not going to show up. And I'm like, are you serious? And so that was Sutcliffe who they were talking about. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, like I needed Sutcliffe. Like, that was like, one of the big things. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy. I'm like, what a weird guy. Like, he doesn't show up. He goes like AWOL. Like, what the hell? And then like, so I'm talking to Q-Man. And then like I hear the guy announces, he's like, okay, we are now taking VIP photos for Rick Sutcliffe. And Q-Man goes like, Sutcliffe, and then just takes off running to the autograph booth, which again, interesting behavior. But he just ran off. And so Sutcliffe did eventually show up. But like there was controversy at some point that he like didn't show. Like I ran into the Jet Setter and I was like, yeah, maybe he got drunk with Bill Murray last night, and like didn't like miss his flight, or they can't find him or something. But all's well that ends well. I ended up going through Sutcliffe's line and I got an awesome autograph, and it turned out great.
Yeah. So nice. Well, it is funny, Jim. Maybe he was partying the night before or something, because he does. I don't know if he still likes to party, but it seems like that's in his history. So maybe he just showed up late.
Yeah, I think so. Like they tried to get a hold of him and like he wasn't answering his phone or something. I don't know. But he signed his 1984 Topps Traded for me. That's a card I've been carrying around for 2 years now. I've obviously well documented. I've had 2 misses with him. You had the 1 miss. Yep. He's hard to get. So it was cool to get him. So one thing that was kind of funny is it was cool. He complimented my hat. I was wearing my Cubs alternate like blues hat with you don't see this hat too often, so it is it's interesting. It's fair that he was kind of like taken by it, but it's like it's a Cubby Bear with a guitar, so like it's
sure.
2 of the things that I love. So it was cool to have. It's a cool hat to have. And he looked at he signed my autograph, and he's looked at my hat. He's like, that is a cool hat. And I'm like, yeah, right. And he's like, I've never seen it before. And I'm like, yeah, it's the it's their new alternate one. He's like, yeah, very cool. So it was a cool exchange with Sutcliffe. One thing that happened before he signed for me, and I'm wrapping this up here, but the guy in front of me was signing, and Rick Monday was like next to him signing, and the guy gets Sutcliffe, and he goes like, thank you, Rick, like I love you. And he's like, I still hate Steve Garvey. And then Sutcliffe was like looking down signing. He didn't like look up or react to that. Like they were kind of like having an exchange, and then the guy threw in one more thing, and he's like, I still hate Steve Garvey. And Sutcliffe didn't really look up, and then the guy walked away, and then Sutcliffe goes like, yeah, say that to Rick Monday. And which is funny. They were teammates on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I think he was implying like, yeah, you say that to him and Rick Monday's gonna like punch you or something.
Right.
So it was pretty funny. So I was like the only one who heard that, and like I kind of like laughed when he said it.
Nice.
So that was very cool. Like, so Sutcliffe or Cusack was cool. Sutcliffe was cool. And I ended up getting Rizzo. The Rizzo thing, Jack, I got to show you the picture of it. Now the Rizzo thing, we'll have to follow up on this later, but there's some controversy with the Rizzo thing.
Okay.
I basically went through this painstaking process to like find the perfect Sharpie to use, because I got this card that was signed by him and Chris Bryant. Or it was signed by Chris Bryant, and it has him on it, and I was going to have him sign it and inscribe it 2016 World Series champs. So I was like looking for the perfect marker to get it to match, basically. And so I go through I get there, and like understandably Rizzo has hundreds of people trying to get his autograph. Like
Yeah, it's the first signing he's done in Chicago.
Yeah. First one since post retirement. I don't know if
Yep.
he's done one other than that, but so he was doing they were calling numbers. They call, you get an autograph ticket and they call the number. So it's like, all right, numbers 1 through 25 for Rizzo, get in line. Numbers 26 through 50, get in line. And like they got up to 225. I had number 307. Q-Man, who was there, had number 400 something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to be here forever. And after they called 225, like about 10 minutes later, they're like, all tickets for Rizzo, all tickets for Rizzo. And then like there was just a mad dash of people. And again, Q-Man took off without, we were in the middle of a conversation. He just took off and like ran into the line, which is like, okay, yeah, interesting. Yeah. But so we get in line, and like there's tons of people. There's got to be like 200 people or like 180 people in line. And the line's like moving really fast. And I was like, I don't feel good about this. They're really like rifling people through. And it was very fast. There was people on the other side of the table taking your stuff and handing it. It really was a clusterfuck. And so I had my card. I even printed out a picture of how I wanted him to sign it. I went through all these steps. I had my perfectly chosen Sharpie, and the guy took my book and he didn't take my Sharpie. And it almost seemed like he purposely didn't take it because like he didn't want to slow things down.
Yeah.
So Rizzo signed with the Sharpie he was using, and it's just blunt. It's just like fat and like, it's not terrible, but like.
And this is on your Bryant card?
Yeah. So I'll send you the picture. It's just like, it's, it's fine, but it's not, I put in so much like thought into it, and it's not quite, it didn't turn out the way, I was hoping. So
Yeah.
it was a little frustrating. Jack, we can follow up on this on another episode, but I reached out to the card show and I told them that I was like, kind of unhappy with how it turned out. And we've had a little bit of an exchange about any sort of restitution or compensation. So we can save that for the next episode, I guess.
Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah. To be continued.
Yeah. So I just texted you a picture of the card, Jack, if you want to take a look at it. But it's it's not too bad, but it's
Okay.
You can see it.
I see what you mean, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yep. It seems less than ideal. Is he the one who did the inscription too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and that was the main thing, because like an inscription in a small space with like a fat marker is not really a great. It's not a recipe for success. So, it's a big card for me. It's like a card that I would cherish like my whole life, and like it didn't turn out quite like I liked it. So like now I'm like, do I have to get another one done? And that card itself has kind of gone up a lot in value. So you don't really want it to be less than ideal, like you said. So, it's okay, but I didn't want it to be just okay. Plus it was quite expensive. So,
it was. So Jeremy, how before we sign off here, how what would you estimate about 600 people maybe got his autograph?
I mean, there was at least 400 tickets.
Okay.
So, and not that's not to mention all the stuff he signs in the back room, you know,
Yep.
because like he's signing for all these dealers too, like mail-in stuff. So yeah, I mean, and assuming like people got multiple things, like he had to have signed like at least 1,000 autographs, I would say, that day.
Yeah,
So-
shit, man. So even if we just did 600 times, he was charging almost 200 for the autograph.
Oh yeah,
That's 100.
I ran this math. What do
You
got?
did. Okay, yeah. So $120,000, even if he only signed 600 of them. So
And that's my, you know, I think there's people take cuts there, here and there, like the show and like the
Yeah.
promoters and stuff. So like, but like, yes, I think I estimated that he made at least $100,000 in ticket sales of autographs. And what does he take home from that? 60,000, 80,000, you know, I don't know, but like it's crazy. And he was very flustered by the end. Like it seemed like he was nice. I actually said to him, like, you know, thank you for the World Series. And he said, thank you. Like we had a little exchange. So that was nice. But it seemed like at some point he was like, just kind of like overwhelmed, and they were just like, let's just get him through this. And part of me is just like, dude, you knew this was going to be huge. Like either limit the amount of autographs that we're going to do, or just fucking be ready for it, man. So
yeah.
it was
How
a little,
long did he sign for?
I didn't get through his line. So he was supposed to start at noon.
Yeah.
I don't think he started quite at noon, but he didn't start that much later than that. And I was there. It was like 2:30 ish, like is when I got out of there, I think. So
Okay.
and there were still plenty of people behind me. So he probably signed till like 3, a little after 3. So he signed for like 3 hours straight, I would say, pretty much.
Jesus Christ.
And that's before he went to the back room to do stuff. So, yeah, he signed. I'm sure he signed a ton, and I'm sure he was like exhausted. But like, you had to know that it was going to be that crazy, you know?
Yeah, I almost wonder if it'll deter him from doing future shows just because of how crazy it got, or maybe he'll be more selective.
Yeah, it's not. It didn't help, you know, matters at all. That's for sure. And yeah, so I don't know. It was a lot.
Yep.
But I did get the card done, and you know, it's. I think I'm gonna get it slabbed, and I think once it's slabbed, I think like it'll look good. So I guess I'm cool with it, but I might end up trying to do another one at some point. But you know, I think I have so much stuff that I want Rizzo to sign anyway that I'm hoping to get him like at Wrigley at some point. And then, you know, I'll pay for him again. But yeah, I think you just got to get it really early and be one of the early numbers, because like I had a friend who got him, 2 people that got him like early, and like the autos looked pretty good. I think it was just like, honestly, it would have looked fine if they would have taken my Sharpie. That was my whole thing that I told them. So like, yeah, there was some exchange. There's been some emails back and forth.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about that, Jeremy. Yeah, one last thing on Rizzo. Did you see the GTV reality clip where he gets Rizzo?
Yep.
Okay, all right, there you go. So yeah, that's you've seen that. But anyway, yeah, I can't wait to hear about that, Jeremy. But yeah, I think that basically wraps it up for the con.
Yeah,
episode.
the recap is complete. It was you know, jam-packed experience, as it always is, which is why we keep doing it. So yeah, we'll do it again. And maybe we'll even do the March one, but baseball season, you know, we'll be right around the corner at that point. So we got the Cubs convention coming up, so that'll be cool, and maybe hopefully some other fun stuff, fun events and stuff before baseball comes back.
Yeah, heck yeah. So for Rain Delay Theater, I'm Jack Swakowski.
And I'm Jeremy Dinicio.
We'll see you next time.
Later.